Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweights. Come get with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Gato, Azul, and Carolina Real Streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Gato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. El Gato Azul. Over here is my partner in slime, Mr. Jamie Dunn, Carolina Lightweights.
What's up, family?
Welcome to the slime show, baby.
Man, this ought to be a good one tonight, brother.
Yeah. So we constantly get people asking about sponsorships. How do you do it? How do you get on? What's the requirements? What's the benefit of it? What's the difference between sponsorships, pro staffs, and field staffs? So we're going to go into a little bit about all of that. I got a little special insight because I'm team leader at Carolina Lightweights. Jamie's got some special insight because he's a sponsored angler for a number of companies, and he's a company owner. So we're going to go into it probably pretty heavy tonight.
It's a subject that a lot of people's been talking about, man. It's a subject I've been waiting to get into because you hear a lot of talk on it. You hear a lot of rumors on it, and something that I knew that was coming up, man, and can't wait to see how deep we go with it.
I hear a lot of misinformation spread on social media about what it is, what you get out of it. And I think for each person, it's probably a little bit different. In life, everybody's different. And I know God creates everyone equally, but in reality, nobody is equal. And if everything was equal, we'd all be millionaires and happy and all that. But reality of it is some people work harder than others. Some people are lazy. Some people are smart. Some people are dumb. Some people are good looking. Some people are ugly. Some people can fish and some people can't. So we're going to go into it. You don't have to be a world-class angler to get a sponsorship. And, there's all different levels to it. So
and it's something, man, that you can still have a lot of fun in representing a company. It don't have to be like a job. I don't think a lot of companies out there are sitting here telling you, hey, man, I want you to say my name 5,000 times every time you go on a live or every time you go fishing.
I agree.
It's nothing like that. It can be a lot of fun.
I think having fun's a big part of it. If it's not fun for you, you're not cut out for it. And I know there's a lot of expectations that once you get on a team, trust me, I know because I'm on some really good ones. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to produce because I'm going against these other world-class anglers. And I feel if I'm not doing something, I'm not pulling my weight. So there is a bit of pressure that comes along with it. But it's just fishing, guys. And fishing's supposed to be fun. So if it's not fun, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
And I think, a lot of people put too much pressure on themselves sometimes, man. You see a lot of people out there just doing the best they can do. They're sweating it out. Man, am I doing enough? And
I tell guys, Jamie, that come on that they're like, I just need to catch something big. I'm like, you don't have to even catch anything. You just need to be out there.
Yeah.
You just need to be out there doing it.
Yeah.
If you don't catch anything, that's fine too. Take a picture of the rod. Take a picture of the dog. I don't care about promoting the actual product other than this is the product I'm using and it's working good for me. Look at the fish we just caught, or look at it, the Carolina lake weight dangling on the end of my line. To me, that's more important than the sharing.
I think we're going to see chat light up tonight. I can probably tell you we're going to get some questions.
Yeah, let's run through here and see who all's with us tonight. We got my boy Danimals Creations. Welcome in, Dan. How you doing, buddy? It's summertime. We need to get the boys together. We got Billy Bever. What's up, Billy? We were just talking about you and how we love having you on the team. You're a great teammate. So appreciate you hanging in there with us and being a part of what we're doing. We got Eagle Eyes Tienda. That's our Operation Vets with Nets Texas chapter lead. I don't know the terminology for all these different names, but Juan's a good dude. Appreciate you coming in with us, buddy. We got Mr. Chuck Watkins, Bite Lights. Mr. Bite himself. Welcome in, Chuck. We got Tommy Ruffin, the father extraordinaire of JT Catfish Kid. Welcome in, Tommy. We got Cold Creek Catfishing Billy. Welcome in, Billy. We got 205 Wild Action. Welcome in, buddy. We got Micah Burkhart, the King of Tennessee. Moving on down, we got Alex Texas Fishing. Welcome in, Alex. We got Corey Whaley. What's going on, bro? We got Russell Rhodes, our Carolina Lake Weights teammate. And Boskin from Fish On Marine Electronics. What's up, Boskin? He's carrying Carolina Lake Weights now. He's got a full supply of them. If you're in Louisville, you can go to Fish On Marine Electronics and get hooked up.
Yes, sir. They're carrying a lot of stuff down there, man.
We got Killer Bee Outdoors, my boy Bill from we used to fish quite a bit together. We got to fish next to each other this spring. Some epic catfishing. We got Shannon Oxner. Welcome in, bro. We got Nathan I can't hardly read that. Natalia. Welcome in, Nathan. We got Backlash Fisherman. Welcome in, buddy. And we got Ricky Garza. Ricky. We got Ricky. I just invited Ricky's daughter under our junior angler team. We're going to be putting up a post tomorrow for her. The cat is what we're calling her. So
we're very excited about having her to come on our youth angler, man. We're very excited. Rebecca's excited. We can't wait.
Jeremy Narrison, welcome in, Jeremy. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, Ricky, it's going to be good. Can't wait to see her grow up. It's been fun watching her the last year. Love the kids' stuff. So, love not live, Backlash Fisherman says. Richard Gadget Green, welcome in, Richard. So, Jamie, what's the most important thing when you're first? A lot of guys don't care about getting on. They just get on. Like me, I never tried to get on. I didn't ask. I just fished hard and, started getting invitations. But if you're trying to get on, what's the number one thing in your mind that's most important for a guy who's thinking he wants to gain some sponsorships?
Well, Chris, there's several, man, that could be number one. But, I feel, first of all, using the product. Okay. Using the product is my number one go-to.
That's pretty important.
That's just like when I was invited to be a sponsored angler with Mad Cats. I was using the Mad Cat rods before this ever happened. I believed in them. I fished with them. I fished, some tournaments with Mac Knight and everybody. These guys knew I was using the products before that ever happened. So myself, I believe that's important. is believing in what you're using. If you don't believe in the products that you're using, it's not going to happen already.
I
But
think that's something that's very important is to use the products and believe in them. I I can't tell you how quick I will write somebody off when they contact me and say, "I want. What do I need to do for sponsorship?" And I'm like, "How long you been using the product?" Because you normally, if they've been using it, I know of it because we're all kind of it's like a family thing and we're friendly. But you know, occasionally these guys are like, "What do I got to do?" And I'm like, "Are you using the product?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, well, you might want to. How do you know you even like it? What do you want to promote something that you've never even used? Like the way. That's not the way. I mean, that's
that's
the
it.
wrong way, guys. So
That's it.
I think the first thing you got to do. The first team that I got invited on was Mad Cats. Now, once they invited me, it took 6 months before they ever put me on. I think the week after they invited me, Jamie invited me. So I actually got put on Carolina Lake Weights first. Uh, and me and Jamie just were friendly through our fishing. We kind of followed each other on our fishing. He liked watching my son, and we just became friendly that way. And he had another guy uh, that was they were just starting the company, and he had another guy that I was real friendly with, who we kind of helped each other across the country. Jeremy Eads, and so we all just kind of hit it off. And Jeremy put in a good word for me, and I started using the Carolina Lake weights. I loved them, and I mean, it was a natural fit. Uh,
The me, I've seen a couple. It's when you approach the companies, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out there. When you approach companies and basically say, "Look here, I don't use your products, but I want you to send me all this free equipment." Okay, let's just say that. First of all, now, I mean, why am I going to send you free stuff if you haven't used my stuff? If if you're telling me if you send me free stuff, I'll go with your company. But if you don't send me free stuff, I'm gonna go with somebody else.
yeah,
That
yeah. I just had a guy that contacted me probably 6 weeks ago, and the first thing he said was, "Hey, I'm so and so. I'm real good friends with Jamie." Well, I talk to Jamie every day, and he's like, "I'm real good friends with Jamie, and I'm a moderator in their group." And I'm thinking, well, I never heard of you, and I think I probably would have heard of you. And he's like, "And if you'll give me 30 Carolina Lake weights, I'll switch from this other brand." And I just was like, that's mind boggling to me. Like,
yeah
you think we have to buy our guys? That's,
yeah that's the wrong way of going about stuff. I mean, and, and and Chris, I think one of the most important things about this, man, is you're taking the fun out the fishing. First of all, with the sponsor stuff, sometimes if you're doing it wrong, you're taking the fun out of it. If you're doing that, then it ain't going to be enjoyable. You can't represent a company if you're not enjoying it, and making it more like a job. I know there's a lot of companies out there that say, "Hey, just promote through your fishing,
yeah,
take some pictures,
that's how
talk."
I got going.
Yeah,
I mean, I was using for all the brands that I rep. I was using them long before I ever got invited on, and some of them I used for years before they ever invited me on. I used Mad Cats for a full year before I got invited on. Uh, and Parks Planner boards, I used those for years. And SmackDown rod holders, I used those for 2 years. I had no idea they were keeping an eye on me, but I just promoted through my fishing. I told when I would do something, I would say, man, these, loving these SmackDown rod holders, not thinking that somebody's watching or, I'm not trying to get on, but I mean, it just, to me, if you like what you're doing and guys are saying, hey, what kind of rod is that? And I'm like, these are these Mad Cats. This is a new rod company. They're like, man, those things sure are cool looking. Because let's be real, they look cool. I mean, they're real eye catching. I was doing a lot of live streaming, and guys were like, man, what are those green rod? Before a lot of color and all that. So guys saw my live streams were like, man, what this color's really crazy. And before you know it, the companies started kind of taking notice because people would go buy stuff and they'd be like, I was watching this El Gato Azul dude using your products and I want some. So I think that's the best way to do it.
I believe there's been a lot of misconception about sponsorships and stuff. Yeah. I believe it's a subject that I can tell you that this is one of the reasons why we do it. We talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about sometimes.
Yeah. I hear a lot of guys say, oh, these companies are just using you. And to me, I'm not getting used. Yeah. I'm getting a benefit out of it. I was doing this before, talking about the stuff that I love. And now I get rewarded for doing it. So to me, the sponsorships is more just of a reward for what you should already have been. If you're not already doing it and you think I'm going to start doing this to try to get sponsorships, it's not going to be natural. It's not going to flow. People aren't going to pay attention as much as if you're just out having fun fishing. Now, there's multiple ways to get on these sponsorships. Yeah. You can be a professional tournament angler and go win, and companies will want to sponsor you for being a winner. You could be a professional guide who has customers 7 days a week coming on their boat, and the people coming on their boat want to buy the products they're using. So you got every week you get 2 or 3 new customers wanting to buy something that the guy from the guide service was using. Or then you got guys like me. I'm just a weekend angler with my son. We fish every weekend. We fish hard. We catch a lot of good fish. And then we just share our journey. So for me, the companies want to support me. It's like, we're just going to support this guy because we like what he's doing. I'm just a regular dude who fishes with my son. I'm not some guide or tournament angler, or I'm not a big social media person.
That's it. And I tell you,
all different levels to it.
And I tell you, Chris, I've seen this thing, man, come in between good friendships. Okay. I've seen stuff like that come into good friendships. It's like, why didn't you put me on? Why I'm not going to use your stuff no more. I'm not going to be friends with you because you didn't put me on. And that's a shame. It really is when it causes problems like that. It's something that you try to avoid and, stuff, but
Jonathan Coley's got a good point right here. He says that from a business standpoint, a business owner company has to look at return on investment. If you can't bring anything to the table to help grow the brand, that's just bad business and doesn't help the business company grow. People can see right through someone who doesn't believe in a product and they're trying to promote. And I would agree. But a lot of these companies are mom and pop, and they can't just outright invest in every team member that they bring on. So one of the big complaints I hear guys say is, oh, they just give you a discount. And that is true. Every brand at the beginning starts you out with a discount. They just give you, it's just a broad discount so that whenever you're buying something, you get rewarded that way. So some brands it's 50% off, some brands it's 30% off, some brands it's 20% off, whatever that may be. But what I have found is, and almost every brand is this way, depending on what you bring to the table, depending on how well either you promote and bring people to buy, or how well you represent the brand and what you're doing as just as a good person, helping people, getting the word out there about how good things work, and just how much you love what you're doing. The companies invest in that.
Yeah.
They might not be able to put a dollar amount on it, but one thing that I've heard is, Chris, when you came on, you moved the needle. We immediately saw a surge, because the guys that follow me, I don't have a big following, but the guys that do follow me typically like to use what I'm using because I believe in it. I'm out there doing it. I'm catching big fish on it constantly. And then I talk about, what's working. Look at this PB we just caught on this Carolina Lake Weights rig, dragging these stumps. I mean, so I think.
And these companies, don't get me wrong, you got some companies, they sit back and they look at these promo codes. Everybody has a code and stuff like that. And they sit there and go, wow, this person's really up here. This person's not really doing nothing. But yet, us, we really don't look at it like that ourselves. First of all, family. That's what Carolina Lake Weights, man, your family first. Second is go fishing. Use the product. Show people here and there, man, that you're using the product. Talk about it. You don't have to do it every second. Maybe wear a T-shirt. Somebody say, "Hey, man, what's the T-shirt mean?" You let them know. Say, "Hey, this is Carolina Lake Weights. This is what they do."
Yeah.
You don't go out there and make it a freaking job, man.
When you let me start building the team, I said, "This is what I want." And, what do you think? I would like to have a variety of different guys. And I don't care. Some of them I do want to be heavy hitter cat fishermen, but I also want some weekend anglers. I want some father and sons. I'd like to have some granddads. I'd like to have tournament guys, some guides. To me, when you piece it all together, it just makes something great. And you can't expect the guy who's out winning tournaments and doing tournament fishing every weekend to be the same type of a team member as your preacher, or the father and son team who's over here just showing other dads that it's possible to go catch fish and get your kids involved. So there are all different types of ways, and you think, oh, that guy can't fish worth a lick. Well, you don't even know what that guy brings to the table. You don't know what he's bringing to the table. You can't go off of the fishing. Yeah, so some of our guys are out hammering giants constantly. Some of our guys, are just great people, and we just like having them.
And don't get me wrong, man. You go on a live or you see some pictures on Facebook and stuff. It makes you, as a business owner, it does make you feel good when you see somebody wearing the jersey, or they don't even know you're there, and you see them, they're talking to people on the camera. Yeah, this is what we're doing. We're using Carolina Lake Weights, having a good time, and it's a husband and wife, or it's a father and son, or mother. It makes you feel good.
Rich got a good point here. Completely understand. One thing people have to remember is it is a two-way street.
Yep.
The sponsor must promote just as the sponsoree promotes the company. And I agree. Now, each one of my teams is different. Some of them really push me hard. Carolina Lake Weights, Mad Cats, they promote the hell out of me. And I love that. I've got other companies that just give me stuff. And I don't even hardly talk to the people. They just, when I need it, it's there. And I just, and I mean, I appreciate that too. But what I really like is the family part of being with Carolina Lake Weights, the communication with our teammates. It's, we got a little different kind of team over here where our guys are in communication. And you go on any one of these guys' posts, and you're going to see probably half our team over there on the post congratulating. That is a little different than the rest of the teams. A lot of teams, it's
everybody for themselves
type deal. Some of them, there's jealousy when the other guy, oh man, he caught some big fish, and then everything gets quiet. But each team is different. So,
yeah, and like I said, man, you watch it, you see people talking about it, and it's really taking over a lot that it shouldn't be taking over. It should be more about the fishing, but here lately you've been seeing a lot more about it's just a name, trying to get that pro staff name.
Chuck makes a good point. He said there's a big thing to me is no social drama and BS. And Chuck, that's it with me. I tell our guys when I bring them on, if I find you arguing with people, I will get your back. But if you make it a habit of getting into altercations with people online, you're not going to be on the team for very long. I don't like negative vibes. I don't like bad mouthing. Guys can use whatever they want. And if they want to bad mouth us, they can bad mouth us. We're not going to go back and forth with somebody else about our drift weights are better than yours. We believe in what we do.
And
we got guys out there proving how good they are. So
being a company like we are, of course, we got other companies out there doing the same thing. First of all, and a couple of them will tell you, we have reached out, we've talked, we've worked things out amongst us, because sometimes things do happen. Being very true about it. It happens, unfortunately.
It's a way of fishing sometimes. Sometimes fishing is not the most important thing in the world. You got to do other stuff. And we understand that. So, and most people understand that.
And we, Chris, we rather be friends with everybody. Plain and simple. Sometimes it's a competitive world out there, and that gets in the way of a lot of stuff.
I see a lot of the new, when a small company just starts, that's usually when you see the majority of the issues. It's the new guy on the block trying to scratch his way in and just trying to feel relevant. Sometimes they see everybody else doing stuff and they're not doing it. It makes them feel inadequate, so they get into arguments and stuff. But and we've had some problems with some of these newer companies, but usually I can go talk to the guy and we can get it ironed out.
I'd rather help people out. I'd rather say, hey man, we've been in it for a while. This is kind of what we've learned through the system. Not being enemies. I mean, I'd rather help a brother out. Plain and simple.
I'll tell them, quit focusing on what other people are doing and just worry about what you do well.
Yep.
Shine the light on what you do well. Quit worrying about what the next guy's doing. And pretty much you'll stop having all this negative crap going on in your head. Your son Chase says, need to invest in motivated people and people who will go out and prove they deserve it, and not people that just want a handout or people that just want a name to throw around. And that is, you couldn't say it better than that, Chase, because we've had guys that thought that, they wanted a percentage of profits, or, that the first question they ask is, what do I get out of it? And immediately I thought, well, nothing, because you're not made for this team. I never asked for anything.
Yep.
When I got on a team, I never asked for anything. I know my value, and every team that I'm on, I get rewarded for being a valuable team player. I don't have to say, what am I going to get out of this? And I just think if you're that type of person, you think if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, it's probably not going to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right, Chris. And myself, man, what I like about it is we all can go on our chat and we can sit there and all of us help each other out. You know, talk about all kinds of different stuff, giving motivation, like you said, to helping each other and not putting each other down. You know, with our teams, that's what, or with our people, that's what we do a lot of. And I can say it's 100% family.
Chuck says, I look at Carolina Lakeweights and think how much money I saved on rigs if I wasn't using them. Chuck, me and Jamie have this conversation all the time because Jamie keeps saying, you need some more Carolina Lakeweights. And I'm like, I'm not losing them. I mean, I think my first year, I've been with Carolina Lakeweights for over 2 years. My first year, I think I lost 11 weights fishing every week. 11. I go in there and I look now and it's like this. I'm cutting all my rigs off and I'm recycling all my rattles. And, you know, I went and put eater rigs on this past week, 2 weeks ago. And my dragging weights, some of my dragging weights are 2 years old. I'm like, it's unbelievable to me. So Chuck, I did the math and I was saving like $1,500 a year in lost rigs because I was going through 100 rigs a year with a Demon Dragon, a dollar hook, a Roscoe swivel that's 75 cents, and a sinker slide and a couple of beads and an inline rattle, and it's like
it adds up.
It adds up.
Chris, we got a good question, man. Alex is asking. He says, what is the best way to show a company to sponsor them? That is a good question, Alex.
All right, Alex. Guys ask me all the time. I said, all I can tell you is my formula. So first thing you do, you buy the product. You use the product. You go into their groups, and once you like the product, you start promoting in their groups. And in your own personal group, you start tagging, but it's not just about tagging. For me, I'll put in there, like, I drug the stump fields and Carolina weights kept me in the game all day long. And, I mean, it's pretty simple. If I'm talking about my rods, I'm loving these freaking Mad Cats. We keeping these Mad Cats bent on these Texas Giants, tagging Mad Cats. It's not that hard. And if you start doing that on a regular basis and you're genuine about it, the companies will take notice and they will come a knocking. You don't have to ask them. Guys are looking, and I'm constantly looking. So I do most of my recruiting from our Carolina Lakeweights Facebook group. And when guys come to me and they're like, yeah, I've been using the products and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, I'm like, well, you need to come in our group and first share your experience. And so that everybody can kind of start knowing who you are. When I say everybody, I'm talking about our other Carolina Lakeweights customers, our teammates. And depending on how well you jive with the guys, when there's an opening, I've got a list of 4 or 5 guys that, okay, this guy's been doing this. When it comes time to pick somebody, it's real easy. I don't have to say, I don't know, we should just go pick a guy. No, I already know this guy's been doing it. Let's go reward him. And so that's my formula. Fish hard, have fun, use the product, shine the spotlight on the product through your fishing. It's not about sharing out advertisements, guys. It is not about sharing out advertisements. I can tell you a lot of guys want to share out all these advertisements thinking that's the path to getting on sponsorships. It is not. And I mean, if you want to share out a new product or whatever, that's all good. I mean, they're not going to shun you for it. But what they really want to see, what guys like me really want to see, is you out fishing and having fun, enjoying it, and then shining the light on the products that you like.
I can tell you a lot of business owners and stuff, man. They want to see you using the product, and when you show them that you're fishing and you're catching fish with the product, they love that. Okay, when people see you posting pictures on social media and they say, okay, what products is he using? And you're using, say, Carolina Lake Weights, they see you're using that product and you're sharing it out through your fishing. That's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, you're not a walking advertisement.
Yeah.
You're basically showing what you're doing in life by fish through your fishing. And in doing that, you end up liking certain things. I love my dog. I'm talking about my dog. I love my son. I'm talking about my son. I love my Mad Cats. I'm talking about Mad Cats. I love my Carolina Lake Weights. I'm talking about my Carolina Lake Weights. It's not work to me because I genuinely love those things and I like talking about it. And when I'm fishing, if I'm live fishing, it's real easy for me to talk about those things. So keep it natural, have fun. It shouldn't be.
The companies is always watching. I can promise you. They're always going through social media, looking at what's going on. Like you said earlier, Chris. You taking a list. There's a lot of people out there, man. When you do get on as a sponsor or a pro staff, you fall right off. Just because you made a team, then all of a sudden you just fall right off the radar. You're like, okay, I'm over.
JT Catfish Kid is just a kid that loves to fish, and he gets a lot of support from a lot of people.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome, Tommy. I think it's cool what you're doing, and a lot of the brands that support us in the beginning were apprehensive because they said, and Jamie was one of them. I'm not sure, Matt over at Mad Cats is the same way. I'm not sure about promoting a kid because we don't want to look like we're trying to take advantage of a kid. And I'm like, we're out doing it every week, and we've already been promoting the rides. We've already been promoting the Carolina Lake Weights. If you want to bring him on, he already said he'd be honored. So. I think it's cool that they want to support us. Really, what do y'all get out of it? Yeah, you get some sales out of it, but in reality, it's just it's cool that y'all want to support me and my son for what we're doing. And a lot of guys like Chris, you got all these sponsorships with Jackson, and I'm like, yeah. What's your point?
That's it, man. I mean, it. I sit back and I've watched, and like I said, we get texts every day from people, different people just wanting so much free stuff. First of all, if I gave away everything that we made, man, I would be out of business right now. I mean, plain and simple. And it's hard to do that. As bad as you want to help people and give stuff away, you can't do it that way. And
yeah, especially for small companies when they're first starting out, you can't just give everything away. I know, Jamie, you and Rebecca are super generous, and almost I tell some people that come and ask me, it's almost to a fault. Y'all will give away the house but you can't really do that when you're a small company, and guys think, oh, all this stuff's just going to be free, and that's not the way any of this works. Now, yes, a lot of stuff gets given to us for free, And, you know, but usually that is a reward for what you've brought to the table. You've proven your worth, uh, and they reward you for it. Now, there are some that just people send my son and me stuff all the time and say, I know you're with so and so, but can you just tell me about what you think about this? Which, is that's flattering. But as far as my sponsorships, I'd say probably 75% of them give me my stuff for free at this point. They all started me out with 20% discounts and all of that. But over time, if you like what you're doing and it's working for you and it's working for them, they end up investing in you. Now the catfish industry is growing. So where is it going to go from here, Jamie? I mean, right now it's a mom and pop thing, but you can see right before your very eyes, things are rapidly changing and companies are expanding and I mean, taking it to a whole different level. So
Well,
what's next?
Chris, I can tell you, I went back and myself and Rebecca, we went back to the first time we went to CatCon. Little 10 by 10 booth, man, had everything shoved in there. We didn't have a whole lot. And I look at where we are today. It's almost like turning on a switch. We've been to all 50 states now. We've got, I believe, 40 stores all over the United States now. Here we are. Carolina Lake Weights has grew into something that has honestly, it's been a blessing, where we are from where we started. Now here we are with our second business doing hats, t-shirts, decals. The good Lord's blessed us where we can grow like that. But as we grow, we've also given back a lot. We've given back to so many tournament trails. We've sponsored, I couldn't tell you how many of them, brother. And we've given
I
away
think it's
quite a
cool
bit of
what y'all
stuff.
do, and the way that you help Operation Vets with Nets. Anybody that really ever asks for any type of deal, I mean, it's you can't just give everybody something, but you try to give everybody a little something. Uh, and Juan made a good point. Personally, he said, personally, I just get the enjoyment of helping fishermen get better and having a positive influence locally or wherever I fish. And that's really how I got a foothold in it too, Juan. It's just by helping guys get these big fish figured out. I'm pretty much an open book. I'll give guys will say, I fish this lake. I know you don't fish this lake. Can you help me? I'm like, yeah, let me pull up the Navionics and I'll tell you where to go fish. And I'll give you 3 or 4 areas where I would look. And I try to help guys as best that I can. And I think that is another thing that we haven't really touched on that's important to a lot of companies. It's how well you're going to help their customers that can't fish. And I tell my guys on Carolina Lake Weights, if somebody's got a question, I expect you guys to be the answer. And so if somebody calls me and they want information or help on a lake that I don't know, and I know one of my guys fishes it, I'm going to get my guy in contact with them, and I expect my angler to give them the goods and tell them exactly what they need to hear to help them go catch fish. And I think that's probably something that's helped me. And I've heard that, yeah, that's different than the way that a lot of guys are. So I think that's something. Another thing for you guys starting out is if you depending on what level you're at, doesn't matter what level you're at, there's always going to be somebody that's a little bit below you that maybe you can help them. Somebody ahead of you helped you pass it on to the next guy and just
Yep.
try to be a helpful type of person.
Chris, I tell everybody has our phone number. Call me day or night. I don't care what time it is. You call me if with anything. And that's the way we are with everybody. you know, our customers, our guys on our team. You know, that's what we're here for, is to help each other out.
Nathan, you can call me anytime, buddy. And if you want to come fishing, come on. You know, that's another thing is I've never told somebody no that wants to come fishing, unless they're a jerk. Then you know. But generally, most of our people are really good people. Uh, I enjoy helping. I love seeing somebody that I've helped do well. It's like it's a feather in your cap. Uh, I like seeing people do well, and I know how painful blue catting is, and to be able to help somebody get through some of that painful crap that I had to go through to get to where I am, I feel like I'm really doing something if I can keep them from some of this heartache that I had to endure, because it'll make a lot of people quit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
trying to figure these big fish out will. I've seen a lot of guys give up because you go out and catch nothing trip after trip. It takes a long time before you can go out every trip and do well.
And,
I
and
try.
guys,
That is something I try to do. I try to help.
anybody in chat has any questions, please let us know. We're watching chat. Feel free to shoot us a message right here, and any questions or anything while we're on this subject. Like I said, it's a heck of a subject. I mean, a lot of people doesn't touch on it sometimes, but
Let me run through this chat. I got way behind, man.
I'm sitting here. I was just looking. Um,
Rich said, "Can I join the CLW team?" Rich is already
he
one of our
he's
best
our
members.
yeah.
I'm gonna bump Rich up to full pro staff, which really, I mean, I was telling Jamie, thinking about just combining it all because what's really the point? Everybody's pretty much doing the same thing. Our guys are all really good guys.
Yeah, yeah, they are. I can say,
We got
Chris, you know,
We got Trinity Outdoors, another one of our teammates. We got that's Randall Jeffries. We got Donate Life Catfishing, another one of our teammates, Terry Woodrow. Welcome in, boys. We got Jerry Parker in the house. We got Brian Henry. What's up, Brian? Welcome in, buddy. Get caught up real quick. Kids of the future, says Jonathan Coley. I agree. I love seeing dads put in the effort to take their kids fishing because I know how hard it is. It's such a whip and such a beating to get them going. I know the sacrifice that it takes and how much you got to give up to get them going. So
especially
I'll
especially this day and time.
because your fishing suffers, but in the end you win. You win. You're winning if you got your kid on the water.
And that's something we love seeing, man. That we tell everybody, man, take a kid fishing, enjoy it, get them off the games, man. Get them out there and let them pull in some fish, or just get on the water with you.
So Justin Cox says, I've been making my own drifting weights up to this point, but I will be putting the Carolina Lake weights to the test next season. And I was telling my buddies, Justin, you'd make a good teammate. I don't know why you're not using Carolina Lake weights. I promise you, if you try and you switch to Carolina Lake weights and you give them a chance, you're going to find that you will save money from when you were making them yourself. I guarantee it. I made mine for freaking 10 years. And I may have lost 10 rigs this past year, 11 rigs the year before. That's 20 rigs in 2 years, man. I mean, and that I was going through 100 of my own slinky weights. So I was just making a lead slinky weight with a radiator, cord, melting it, all that. It ain't the same. I can guarantee you. You think it might look similar to what Carolina Lake weight? It ain't. It ain't. you're going to lose way less of them. So give them a shot, buddy.
And guys, I can promise you, we got some big things happening here at Carolina Lake Weights. I'm not going to get into it, but there's a lot of exciting new stuff coming. We're doing a lot of upgrades here.
Extreme trophy fishing. I'm going to be fishing with you, Milton, in June with my boy Matt Mosley, who's in the house. We just got Matt on the team. Milton's on the team. It's man, I love having some of the best anglers in Texas with us.
Yep.
Carolina Lake Weights is dominating in Texas. Ain't even freaking close.
Man, we love seeing it, man. And I tell everybody too, Chris, you know, we love hearing feedback. You know, send us a message. Like I said, my number is up on our website. Send us a message, you know, let me know what you truly think and stuff like that. We love hearing it.
Henry says, Brian Henry says, I got to get those flames from Jamie.
There you go, right there.
Somebody said the same thing last week. It might have been you, Brian. They're like, man, those flames are just off the hook.
I think we've got some shirts with them with that on there. I have to go look, but I think we've even got some shirts with that on there.
Yeah, Justin, you'll like them, guaranteed. You know, my guide buddy that's up there that I'm not going to mention his name because he's taking another sponsorship with a different company, but he told me, I don't know why he's with the other company, because he said, man, I lost all those other ones when they gave them to me, but y'all's, I still got them all. I'm like, okay. And you know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to mention any names.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, Jesse, our team, we're a pretty tight-knit group. We all kind of support each other. Bunch of great guys. We run in a pack. Carolina Lake Weights runs in a pretty good, solid pack.
You know, Chris, with the
JP, my boy JP, he's the king of the bank, but he does some boat fishing. He says he doesn't do much dragging because he fishes the mighty Mississippi, but he said this weekend he did with the Carolina Lake Weights, and they did excellent.
Yeah, good deal.
Love
well, a lot of people might not know, but we do have some the new river weights. They are for a little bit faster water. You can anchor fish with them or drag with them, so we do have that covered also. But you know, we have a heck of a family here, Chris. We call them family because that's where all of our people they are. All of our teammates are family, man. And
yeah,
trust me,
one of the things I say, Jamie, when you come on the team, we are more like a family. So if you got problems with somebody, it's not going to work out because we all going to have to get along. And so far it's been good. We've had a few guys that were a little bit different, and they removed themselves. So I didn't even have to do anything. They just didn't fit in with what we had going. So they were gone.
That's it, man.
Because I'm like black sheep.
Oh, Lord. But, you know, the sponsorship thing, man, we try to take that. We try to take that out, you know, for all of our people. We try to say, okay, just be natural.
Yeah.
Just do your thing. We're not asking you to go set the world on fire. Just be who
that's
you are.
One of the first things guys ask me, what do you expect out of me? And I'm like, only thing I expect is I expect you to go fish hard, have fun, and enjoy and share your journey. And through that, shine the light on Carolina Lake Weights.
Yep.
I mean, I don't ask anything from our guys other than occasionally if there's something that you're dropping, like the new hat deal. I'm like, hey, can y'all go share this out? Jamie's about to start making hats. And I mean, other than that, I don't ask guys to share out a bunch of stuff unless, occasionally if it's a new product or something like that, I'll ask the guys to share it out.
Yeah,
Hey, we're trying to make an impact with this new rig. Uh, can y'all can y'all go share this out? Uh,
that's
so
it. And that's our vision of how we feel that we want our guys, to feel. We want them to feel like they're not being watched every second. Sitting there like, oh my God, I didn't make one post today about CLW. I
you
think I'm
know,
gonna get. We don't do that.
I know what I like to see and what I
Mm-hmm.
don't like to see when I go on. So because when I'm looking at somebody's timeline and I go look, for instance, okay, I made a post about catfish bait tactics. If Catfish Bait Tactics Facebook group is a group where people that can't fish worth a lick go to get advice from people who can't fish worth a lick. Because I went in there, I was in there for one day, and I saw all this information of these guys giving advice. So I just started clicking on the guy, like, okay, he's giving all this advice. Let me click on. I go click on him. There ain't even fish pics. The guy don't even fish. He's giving all this advice. It's like, I can you really trust somebody who's not actually out there doing it, who's just sharing out all these posts? Uh, Not me. I don't want to see all that. What I like to see is I like to see Brandon Ladd holding up a big flathead saying this rattle really kicked some ass for us this weekend. I mean, you
That's
know,
it.
that's what I like to see. And uh, so that's the way I look at it.
And
You
and
know,
Chris, the more that the catfishing world expands, and I can tell you, catfishing is expanding into something big. I feel myself that one day it's going to be as big as bass fishing, if not bigger than bass fishing. I'll say it because you can see the growth year after year in our industry. And one thing about it, man, is like I said, the more that grows, the more that people are going to become even more of an asset, you know, at trying to get good people to come to your team and just feel like the family, to share out the rigs and stuff like that here and there. It's going to, man, this thing's exploding right now.
I think as it grows. Here's a good point that Jonathan Coley makes. He says, I really like the way the industry is changing to where knowledgeable anglers are willing to help and share information about how to overcome something or learn something instead of like 25 years ago when you couldn't pry information out of some people. And I think it really discouraged a lot of new anglers. And I would agree. And I think what the shift, and it's going to continue to shift that way, is CPR. And if guys are turning loose the fish, they're more willing to tell somebody else the information because they know that guy's going to turn the fish loose. And I can go catch the same fish that Jamie caught 3 days from now. I know because I've done it. I've caught my own fish that I caught the week before that I broke off on. The next week, I caught the same fish with my rig in his mouth. So, uh, CPR works, but not just for the fish. It also makes it where guys like Jamie is willing to help, somebody else who asks him about fish that are in his water. And I'll tell somebody exactly where I fished the week before. Now, that may not help them the next weekend because blue cats move in a lake. They're not going to be there. But, over time, you can help somebody. And I think that is probably one of the biggest differences. When I was learning, we learned by going out and getting our ass kicked. And what you learn more from what didn't work. Where now is you can find somebody who's really doing it the right way, and you can just do what they're doing and have pretty much immediate success. Now, you're not going to be you know, the highest level angler around, but you can have some pretty immediate success going off knowledge that is freely flowing through the, you know, YouTube universe and, you know, all of that. So
Be careful of some of that information sometimes.
yeah, there is a lot of bad information out, but and like I said, with that catfish bait tactics, guys, if you're wanting to learn about catfishing, stay out of that group because they're going to lead you down the wrong path. Find some guys that are actually out there doing it and have been doing it for a while, and you'll be surprised if just being friendly, what that will get you. Uh, Being genuine, being friendly, will take you a long ways in the fishing world.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, we still got people coming in, boy. I mean, love seeing everybody, guys. And I'll say again, if anybody has any questions about the subject that we're on tonight, please ask. We're always here to answer questions and try to give out as much knowledge as we can. We don't know it all, but we try.
I always tell guys if I don't know it, I will find somebody who does, and I will do my best to get you the information that you're looking for. And you know, like Jamie said, we don't know everything. I always say I'm a student of the game. I'm always trying to learn. Uh, and if I don't know the answer, I will find somebody who does. I know a gazillion high level anglers. So the information is out there. Just got to reach out and freaking grab it.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's for sure.
Rich says it's all about water, effort, time, and sharing what you have learned and help others up their game. I agree. As long as they're friendly, uh, I will help. As long as they're friendly and they turn loose the big fish, I'm willing to help.
That's it, man. That's why we do what we do. That's why we come on here every Wednesday night. That's why we do this, is because we love it. We hit subjects that a lot of people don't hit. We have a lot of people on that a lot of people don't have on. We try to hold it to a standard where, man, where y'all can learn every time we come on here.
Michael Purdue says, "What speed do you drift this time of year?" We dragged Saturday. We went 0.6, 0.7 and hammered them. I mean, we didn't fish long, but me and my son fished for a solid 2.5 hours, and we had 30 fish in the boat 2.5 hours. Most of them were 7, 8 pounds up to our biggest was about 20, which this time of year is 20 pounders pretty good during the spawn.
Chris, I can tell you, Jackson Shore was wearing them out, brother.
Oh man, he was whipping.
He was giving that. He was giving that reel and that pole hell, boy.
Oh, sorry, boy. Oh man, I love seeing that. It's fun watching him get on the meters because it's constant. You know, it's steady action. For kids, they really enjoy catching eaters more than tanks because
Yeah.
you know, when you're catching big fish, you may get 8 good ones in a day. On a good day, you know, on a bad day, you may get 2 or 3. You know, so it's a lot of waiting. But eater bite, man, it's fast and furious now until about July.
Trying to catch up with chat right here. My computer's running just a little bit behind.
Yep. So, Michael, right now I will be targeting main lake structure, like humps and points, anywhere where there's sand bass ambushing threadfin shad in the morning. I'm fishing under those. And in the evening, it's the exact same pattern. So they'll be on that main lake structure early and late in the day up until right around July 4th. And then threadfin become pelagic when that thermocline sets in, and they move out into the open water, and we still catch them, but we target them in a different way. So that's the way I target them this time of year.
Chris, I got a good question. Alex was asking, do y'all think the commercial industry for catfishing is damaging?
Oh man, it was so damaging. They outlawed it in Texas in the 80s, so we don't have that problem. But I know up north they still do it, and they do it in the big rivers. Is it damaging? Hell yes, it's damaging. I mean, I guess they have a right to it because they've been doing it for so long. So they claim some sort of right to it. But what happened in Texas is they overfished our fisheries, and then it their right to doing it took away everybody else's right to catch the fish. So right now it's okay for both. Will it continue to be that way? I don't believe so. What I don't understand is a lot of these rivers and fisheries, they tell you that you shouldn't eat these fish that have been in there for a long time. Well, these big commercial fishing people, you don't know what size catfish fillet you're getting. It's chopped up into little strips by the time that you get it. So, I mean,
yeah,
if you're buying wild caught catfish, it's probably very toxic. Just FYI, don't do it. I mean, just go catch some eaters that are 2 or 3 pounds that hadn't been in the lake for very long. If you're going to want to eat
Chris,
fish,
I might get some pullback from this from some local people, but this is what I believe in. I believe there ought to be stricter. They ought to be stricter laws for catfishing. They really should. Just like the pay lakes. Don't come to my fishery taking our fish out and taking them to a pay lake. I can't stand pay lakes. That should be done with altogether.
I don't know how that's still legal. The pay lakes were outlawed when I was a kid here. So now you can still have farm raised fish.
Yeah.
But even those, you don't really see those anymore here in Texas. I don't understand why you're allowed to go take fish out of a river and go put them into a pond. You can't go capture deer, and go take them and put them in your pasture, a high fence. So I don't understand it. To me, it's real easy to understand what these guys are doing. There's enough information out there. Why is it still allowed? And people say, oh, it's a money thing. I don't know that it's a money thing. I think these states that are still allowing it are just way behind. They don't realize they're actually going to be losing money.
Mm-hmm.
Texas was forward thinking. We are about that money. We're the richest state in the whole country. And they realize we better start. We have more anglers here in Texas than any other state. We better start catering to these guys rather than these commercial fishermen. We'll just, if you want to have, fish in a store, go raise it out of a pond. I mean, why are you taking it away from all these guys that are spending all this money on boats and electronics and rigs? There's way more money generated.
It makes me sick. It really makes me sick when I go on Facebook and I see these pay lakes, man, with these fish that's dying. I mean, these beautiful fish that should be living, having not worry about this, man. And that's just
dying. Hall with like 200 flatheads dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, God Almighty. Reality, I'm surprised somebody hadn't hunted that dude down. Some crazy person. I'm surprised hasn't hunted that dude down at this point, because If you were to do that to kittens or to dogs, there'd be people at your house dragging you out of your vehicle come Saturday morning. It's just sickening to see the disregard and the disrespect for not just for Mother Nature, but for a creature that's so old. It took a long time for those fish to get big, just to go throw them in a pond and let them die in 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, man, anybody in their right mind, it has to get to you. Because I'm going to tell you, it makes me just cringe my teeth when I see that stuff.
So Juan says, Jamie, you have any bait shops in Texas that are vendors for CLW?
Chris, I'll let you say it right there, brother. I know we have
Marine Electronics in Louisville. We've got Tawakoni. What's Tawakoni?
Tawakoni Marina.
Tawakoni Marina at Lake Tawakoni. There's a couple more, I believe, but yeah, we got one. If you got one in mind that you want to turn them on to, let us know and we'll hit them up.
Definitely. We'll definitely make it happen. That's for sure. But I see here that Alabama's changing their skipjack laws.
Yeah, I saw that today. They're going to limit, I think, to 100 skipjacks per person, which, I think smart, because when I was a kid, they used to just clean out the shad, and so they've made not the limits on shad, but they made some changes on the net size nets that you could use, and certain places that you can't catch them anymore. You're not allowed to use a net to try to cut down on some of that.
Yep. And Brandon, you're right, man. It's going to, when one state changes a certain law and your neighboring states doesn't change their law, it definitely puts a hurting, because it's just going to drive people over the line to go to that.
Yeah. So the Pay Lakes, we still had Pay Lakes. I don't know which states have outlawed them, but some of our neighboring states still have them. I think Arkansas and some of the ones that are above it have them. And what they were doing is they were coming down here to our lakes, and they would spend about 2 weeks at a time. They would come with the tanker truck. They parked the tanker truck at the ramp, and they would run these teams where a guy would go out and he would jug. They'd string out 100 jugs, and they would jug as many of them as they could, and they'd bring them back in the boat. They run them back, put them in the tanker truck, and then go back out and run the jugs again. They'd do that all day for 2 weeks straight during the prime season when they congregate in certain areas, and they were just wearing our fisheries out. And one guy came down from Oklahoma. He went to Tawakoni, which was our best fishery. He had his John boat filled to the top with giant catfish, 40 to 70 pounders. Just the whole boat was full of, the boat was about to sink. It had so many fish in it. And he was on Facebook laughing and, So Texas changed the laws because of his Facebook post and put a slot limit on a lot of our lakes for about 10 years to try to keep that from happening. So you were allowed to keep one fish over 30 inches, just to try to get those guys out of here. But they did some serious damage on some of our fisheries. So,
yeah, man, I hope this is laws that gets changed. If it doesn't, I say if everybody in the catfishing world would just get together and just push their congressmen and just talk to your state leaders, if you have the Pay Lakes there, man, and just try to get these laws changed so we can get rid of them.
John Brown says he uses his medium lights for summer channel cats. And hell, I've got medium lights. I've caught 70 pounder 70-pound blues on. They do well. They're really good for pulling planer boards. They got a really soft tip. They'll take a lot of the wave action out. So,
Yeah, you definitely want a rod with a little bit softer tip.
a lot of my puzzles are medium lights. They can't park a tanker at the ramp here in Ohio, so they park it off-site and pay meth heads to net fish.
Wow.
That's
guys. I'm telling you, push your state legislators. Call them, bug them, tell them if you've got them in your state. Try to speak up.
That's sickening.
Because I can tell you, I hate seeing the pictures that I've seen this week on Facebook in different areas. Man, I hate seeing that.
I do too, man. It's the pay lakes are a problem, but there's still another section of guys that catch them by right. I mean, they say, "Oh, you can't. You have to give everybody the same chance." But when I see a certain segment doing the majority of the damage, now there are guys that rod and reel them that aren't conservation minded.
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
Yeah.
But what I see is that are really doing the most damage. One is the pay lake guys. We don't have the same problem here in Texas like we did. I think the last time I saw a tanker truck in Louisville was probably, I don't know, it's been 15 years. So I don't see those guys here hauling our fish out anymore. What I do see is the juggers, and the majority of those guys keeping the fish, the big, really big fish, and constantly having problems with those guys. I mean,
Chris, we joke about we could do a whole show on it, and I don't think we could ever cover half of it because that's another subject that would, I can tell you, Saturday night we were in a tournament, and I pull up into a place, and next thing I know, I've got these guys coming up with their John boat. I didn't realize it, but there were set hooks, tree limbs, set right there beside me. Watching these guys pull these fish off of them set hooks, man. If I will say it straight up, if I knew about it, I would probably take them off. I'm here to tell you, it was sickening watching that, man. Nice flatheads. Watching these guys throw them in the boat, and it's like, man, why are you doing that?
I think with the more money that's brought into the industry, with the way these companies are growing, we're talking about sponsorship. So I think as these companies grow, there's more money being put in. Let's take, for instance, Maryland in Virginia. They've classified these fish as invasive species. What makes them invasive there when in reality they were only native to the Mississippi River basin and the tributaries that feed it? So everywhere else, they're invasive. They've been introduced. I realize a lot of the closed river systems, they just introduce them for the sport of it. But they've gotten into pretty much all the rivers at this point, except for some of the stuff that's way out west and way up north. But I think the difference up there, like in Maryland and Virginia, is they have the crab industry, which – they got a lot of money, and they got lobbyists that lobby to the government to get the laws changed to try to get the blue cats out. What we need is, as our industry grows, there's more money involved. We need these companies that are catfish oriented to have lobbyists that go in and get the laws changed so that the big fish are protected. And, I think that's the way that it's going to be going. So,
and one day, Chris, I hope it's sooner than later that I can see that definitely happening, because like us here at Carolina Lakeways, we believe in CPR, plain and simple. That's one thing that we believe in is catching them fish, taking your pictures, and releasing them. And that's a very big thing.
Gunky said they eat in the crab population, and that's true.
Yeah,
They are eating some of the crab population, but times are changing.
yeah. A lot of the older thinking, I think, is going to the wayside a little bit, Chris, which is good in a lot of ways. And some of the new things with the new generation, having the knowledge of what we're talking about here tonight is going to be good, man, because I think you're going to start seeing some changes, and hopefully sooner. I mean, we've got to do something, that's for sure.
Richard says, Chris, why do I see Texas A&M go to Texas lakes, and I was told they moved them to Pay Lakes for a profit? I've got big concerns here. I've never heard anything about Texas A&M. I do know that Texas A&M is involved in some of the studies that are done. Obviously, some of these universities are the ones doing the studies for blue catfish, but I haven't heard of them moving anything out of our lakes to Pay Lakes. Not heard that. Not that they haven't, but Jonathan Cooley says, bingo, Jamie.
Yeah. Because you didn't
my dad was a keep everything guy.
Yeah.
So I was raised we kept every fish until I was, I think, 16 or 17 when I started going and really catching big fish. And I told my dad's like, you always catching these big fish. Why don't you bring some home to eat? Well, I finally brought him home a big flathead. And I said, enjoy it, because this is the last one I'm ever keeping. And that was 1989. And I haven't kept a big fish since. But back then, the guides kept every fish. I just, in 89, I was really big into watching Jimmy Houston and Bill Dance. And they were real big fish conservation minded. It was for bass, but I thought, well, they're for bass. I kind of like catching these big catfish. I'm just going to do what they're doing for catfish. I'm going to turn these big ones loose. So that's what I've done ever since.
And the more you've learned as you grow up, the more you're like, okay, now I see what everybody's talking about. And that's the same way, man. Our new generation hopefully has got that knowledge, and we can change a lot of this stuff.
Catching shad and move them to Pay Lakes. I've never heard of them moving anything to Pay Lakes, Richard. So I don't know. Texas they're trying to protect the fish, but they're also trying to make it fair for what they call the traditional style of angling, which, I mean, when I was a kid, big catfish were caught by jug. They were caught by trot line. They weren't caught by rod and reel. We're pretty new. When I say new, I mean last 30 years. Before that, nobody caught them by rod and reel. If you did, it was just by sheer luck. People used, I mean, chicken livers and chicken gizzards for bait. Guys on trot lines were using snag lines, and guys that used them by catching them by fishing rods were snagging them. When I was a kid, way more big catfish were caught snagging than by catching them with bait. So,
yeah,
times are changing though, and you got to be able to change with the times, and it's not, things are a lot different than they were then. And you got a lot of sports anglers that are that want to go catch these fish, and And if you're going to be able to make everybody happy, there's plenty of eaters for the guys who want to eat them, but you can't be hauling out the giants because there's
It's
a
just
lot
not
more
going.
of us these days spending a lot more money. Guys like Jamie spends a lot more on his graph, on his 17 rods, his a year's supply of rigging all 17 rods, the trolling motor, the giant fancy boat. He's spending a lot more than the guy who's making a jug out of a pool noodle using a stainless steel hook that he uses for 2 years straight and has a 150-pound line on there that he spent $2 for the whole spool.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, it's going to boil down to money and who spends the most money on all this. So that's where the paradigm is shifting.
Fishing. Yeah, like I said, absolutely a future in fishing. We've got to change this so we can have a future in fishing in a lot of areas. A lot of this has got to be changed, or for our kids, man, it's going to go downhill.
Well, Richard, I've never seen the students out catching them and putting them in tanks on a trailer. So I can't speak to that. I'd be interested in that information. I know they do studies. Some of the universities do studies, but I haven't ever heard of them actually removing the fish out of the fisheries. They shock them up, they tag them. Some of them have done radio frequency tags so that they can track their movement. I've heard of some studies. I've talked to a guy that worked at the McMurray Fish Hatchery, and he said, "Yeah, we've done some studies, and we had the university that came in and studied our spawning fish and stuff like that." But I've never heard of them removing college students, removing them and taking them to pay lakes. Yeah, Jonathan, you can look at the pictures in the 80s of the Santee River chain, and boy, them boys would have 15, 20 fish over 20 pounds, 20 to 50 pounders, and they kept every damn one of them. That lake almost got completely cleaned out at one point.
Yes.
It's rebounded, but, when you look back like in the 60s, man, it's crazy the fish they were yanking out of that lake. It's insane.
Chris, I love the new limit deal, but even though I still think we can do it even more. I still think we need a little bit more harsher on the limit.
I agree. A lot of guys are they're like they don't. They're anytime there's change, they want to fight it because nobody likes to be told what to do. And nobody likes to have all these regulations. But the reality of it is when you've got all these guys that are abusing Mother Nature, you have to regulate them. You can't just allow everybody to kill every deer. And we regulated them a long time ago. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any left. A lot of the areas, they just wiped them out. There wasn't hardly any deer left. Now, they've repopulated some of these areas, but there was a point where they had wiped damn near every one of them out through hunting because you could just go kill as many of them as you wanted. And, you have to put regulations in. Used to, when I was a kid, there was no limit on catfish. You could keep freaking 300 of them if you wanted. You could keep every one of them that was big. But I mean, here we are in 2024. You can't do that. There wouldn't be any fish left.
Well, I mean, you've got so many more people too that's now fishing and enjoying the outdoors. I mean, you go to a boat landing on a weekend, brother, it's full. I mean, it's packed. So you got so many more people now that's on that fishery than ever before. and it's gradually getting more and more all the time.
Yeah,
So sooner or later, you got to do something.
I would like to see no fish allowed over 30 inches. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe call me drastic, but
Well,
if it's over 10, let them swim, man. Simple.
that's it. And I
Problem
agree with you,
solved.
man. I
And
agree with you.
if you want to catch eaters, small ones are really easy to catch. Big ones aren't. So go catch a bunch of small ones, and if you put the big ones back, there'll be plenty of small ones to keep for the meat
Yep.
haulers. The meat,
That's it. That's it.
Otherwise, you let these guys haul out all the big ones, and they ruin our fisheries. They've destroyed Lake Tawakoni, which was one of the best lakes in the country, and it's been annihilated.
But yeah, I mean, guys, I know we got a little
eaters. There's plenty of 8 to 9s. I agree. And how many 8 to 9s do you need to? I mean, hell, I kept a dozen 8-pounders last week. It's enough for freaking it. It'll feed our family. It'd make, I don't know, 10 meals. I mean, a lot.
That's it.
A lot. If I mean, I kept them because I'm like, okay, it's about summertime. We'll do a fish fry Memorial Day, and normally I would just go catch them on Memorial like that day, but this takes the pressure off, so I just got them. I mean, I already knew it's coming up. Now I got the fish. We just cook them, and I'm still going to fish, but I'll just turn them loose.
And one thing too, Chris, you know what you can eat. You're not going to take more than what you can eat. You're not going to waste it and leave it in the freezer and forget about it.
Hey, that's something we've talked about before, and my guide buddies are like, I'm like, you guys are just, you keep I keep hearing these guys, yeah, we got 3 gallons of eaters, 3 gallons of fillets. And I'm like, damn, 3 gallons, like, that'll feed the whole church. What are you going to do with 3 gallons? The majority of people that keep 3 gallons of eaters at the end of the year, after they ate the first bag of it, they're like, hey, honey, I just cleaning out the freezer. I noticed we got all this catfish from that guided trip we went on. We ought to cook some. Well, they thaw it out. It's got freezer burn. So what do you do with the 3 gallons?
Chunk them.
Chunk it.
That's it.
It ends up going in the trash. So
that's it. I mean, dude, I tell you what, we've hit some good subjects tonight. We really have, and this is something, man, that can.
We always go back to big fish conservation. I can't tell you how often we go back to big fish conservation, man. But hey, we're passionate about it, guys.
That's it.
I'm not going to apologize for loving, for the love of the big fish. So
that's right. That's right.
Well, Jesse, bow fishing. Here now, if you were just going to go get one and go eat it, I would be fine with it. But the reality of it is, because I've got a ton of guide buddies. I mean, I got a ton of guide buddies. Some of them bow fish. Some of them are just trophy cat fishermen that get their bait from bow fishermen. So guys that bow fish, even if it's just for carp, what do you think they go do with 50 carp? So you go bow fish 50 carp. And here's my point is, you go kill 50 carp. Okay. Now, if you were going to go clean those carp and give them to the church, maybe I could see, okay, that would be okay. But you're out there doing it every weekend. You're killing 50 on Friday, another 50 on Saturday. What do you think they do with all those? They just go freaking dump them. So you're just it's just like, there's no respect for Mother Nature. You're just going and killing for the, I mean, you're not getting any meat out of it. You're not, and as far as the catfish, how many do you injure with
Oh yeah.
catch? Because I do know that they do bow hunt and for them here in Texas. Uh, I've heard of guys doing it at night. They're like, yeah, you can see them up shallow. You can get them with a bow. Uh, Big ones.
Chris, I've
So,
seen pictures. I've seen some lives where they were doing it, bow fishing tournaments. You know, I see them when they hit them, they put them in these big old look like trash cans. You know, it to me, man, that's tough, man. When you sitting there wasting all these fish, you can't eat all the ones you're shooting. I mean, it's just crazy to me.
yeah, and like gar fishing. Uh, you, I know a lot of guys don't have gar in their part of the country, but we have giant alligator gar in our part of the country, and some of these, like for instance, a 7.5 footer is 70 years old. Is anybody really okay with killing a 70-year-old fish just for the hell of it, to take a picture and then just to go dump the thing on the side of the river? To me, that's a freaking crime. I mean, even if I didn't fish for them, I would say, well, that just ain't right. I mean, a 70-year-old fish, you got to have more respect for Mother Nature. Just the sheer age of that should be respected in my mind. And the same for a big catfish. If a catfish is 25 years old, shouldn't be made into Tuesday night tacos, man. Have
Yeah,
some respect.
yeah, that's for sure. But you know, I love the subjects that we talk about here. And Chuck said we pretty much cover a lot of the bases. You know, we start out with a subject, but we're passionate. That's what we do it, man, because we're passionate on, like Chris said a while ago, big fish conservation, CPR. You know, that's what we're trying to do is open people's eyes.
One of my guide buddies here is Matt Mosley. He's one of our new team members at Carolina Lake Weights. He is one of the only guides that I know that discourages people from keeping fish. And I realize a little bit of it is out of his uh, just not wanting to clean fish. But, I think it's cool to say, are you want to catch something big or you want to go catch some eaters? Well, and he tries to talk them out of keeping them because a lot of people, they just think since I'm spending this money, I should keep every one of them. But
Yep.
that's not the right mentality. A guide should be teaching people what's cool about turning them loose. And, you want to keep some, why don't you keep some for this meal and maybe one more and turn the rest loose? Because
Yep.
you ain't going to eat 30 freaking meals of striper. You ain't going to eat 30 meals of catfish. And everyone says, oh, we'll have this big fish fry. Well, unless you already got one planned, you're not going to have it. I mean, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't happen. So
You're right, man.
I'm going to have this big fish fry, and I normally don't have 20 people over, but now I'm going to have this big. Like, no. Now
Oh,
it's Memorial Day. I'm planning on having a fish fry for about 5 or 6 people.
mm-hmm.
So I kept 12.
Yeah, that's it.
And we already ate 2 of them. So I got 10 fish for 6 people.
And tell you, man, them smaller ones taste a heck of a lot better. I mean, they really do. And that's what we all need to, preach, man. Keep you some of the eaters. Don't take more than what you're going to eat. Don't waste.
Yeah, there's something about responsible harvest. It's not just big fish conservation, but responsible harvest.
Yeah.
Not taking more than what you need, and that goes for catching bait. You don't keep a whole cool. I see these guys. Now I'm not from back east, but I see these guys keeping a whole cooler full of bait. And so I'm gonna freeze this bait. I got bait for the next year. I'm like, come on, man. I don't fish your water, but I can tell you that ain't right what you're doing
Yeah,
there, man.
that's it, man. Try to check, try to get caught up on
Well,
chat right here.
bow fishing looks badass, but it's certainly a waste. And I would agree. I used to think that's badass, but then, okay, you killed this 70-year-old fish for what? To take a picture? You could have done that catching it with a rod and reel, and then you get to let the 70-year-old fish go.
Yep. And the bad thing with that, Chris, is there's no takebacks. Once you take that fish with a bow, you know there's no takebacks. You're 9 times out of 10 you're killing that fish, and it's
Yeah,
a.
how good does it feel to let a giant go?
I tell you, I enjoy watching a big fish swim away. I get more joy out of that and feeling that fight on the rod and hoping we can do it again one day.
I agree. There's
You
something
know,
about watching that thing swim off.
that's it. That's just like these guys here on the coast, man. Doing it flounder fishing. Our laws have changed with the flounder. They up in the sizes and all kinds of stuff because of it. You know, people were going out there and doing the same thing with them.
Bill says lots of mercury in the Mississippi River, and that's for sure, Bill. That
Yep.
those Mississippi River fish are some of the most toxic fish. So, you know, yeah, these guys that are eating all these toxic fish, they're really probably doing us a favor. They're killing themselves. Justin Cox says, I used to keep a lot of eaters, but I find it makes for a good excuse for the wife to turn me loose to go catch dinner. I agree. So now when I keep fish, it's usually 5 fish, and that's 2 meals for me and my wife and my son.
Alex,
And if
that's
we
right,
want
man.
more, I go get more. And then I
That's
can say,
it.
look, I got dinner. Not let me dig them out of the freezer.
Yeah.
Like, what's
Yeah.
the fun of digging them out of the freezer? Because you go get dinner. I mean, yeah, you brought 5 home, but you got to catch 25 or 30 of them. So,
That's it.
and they're fresh. They're better fresh anyway. So,
And you're absolutely right, man. That's the best kind.
yep. Ben and Tip says I enjoy watching big fish swim away and hoping to catch it bigger when it get, hoping to catch it again when it gets bigger. And that's exactly what me and my son say. He wants to name them when he thinks he might run into it again. And he's like, this one's name is Bob. And I'm like, all right, Bob. And you're judging on how big the fish is. I'm like, well, we'll see you again in 5 years, Bob. Or we'll see you again in 10 years when you're a lake record, Bob. And,
That's it.
it's fun. And, you know, I think it's important to teach the next generation. It's more important to teach them because the old guys aren't going to change, but the new guys, the new kids coming up is what's going to change. Uh, when I was a kid, people kept every bass. The guides kept them. Everybody kept the bass and ate them. But the paradigm started shifting around 1981 ish when Jimmy Houston had his show. And here we are now. Nobody keeps bass. So I see catfishing probably going that route. It took 40 years, 30 years for bass to reach to that level. And it's catfish are on a similar trajectory now, I believe.
Yep.
It's finally changed. The paradigm is shifting. I can see it. I've been doing it a long time, so I can see it's changing.
Chris, Richard's got a question. What weight of fish would you consider toxic?
Well, what I would consider there's a line between what I consider toxic and what I consider starts to be a fish that needs to be respected. Age-wise, I would say right around 10 pounds because they've been in the water a considerable amount of time. They're eating a lot of filter feeders in that, it may take, I don't know, 7 years to get to 10 pounds. in 7 years, you can eat a lot of filter feeders that are sucking that nasty crap up off the bottom. So I would say 10 pounds. And I've even gone down since I've had my son. I moved it down to 8. And really, if I'm going to keep them, I keep them 5 to 8.
Yeah.
And if it's just for a one mealer, I'll keep the 3 to 5 pounders, because they have less crap in them. They have not been in the lake as long.
Chris, I myself agree with you, man, 100%. Now, I haven't kept one in probably over 2 years, at all, either one. But if I was going to have a little cookout or something, it would definitely have to be 10 and under.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I've seen that some of the bigger fish have just weird crap growing on them and stuff. They've been in the water a long time. Now that might not be the case with all places, but that's the case with every fishery I live in. The older ones have some stuff. You can see
I really wouldn't when even on our say the bluegill, when you tell people in your area don't eat the bluegill every day, because of the mercury in the water and stuff like that, then you've got a problem. Definitely.
So,
man,
Shannon, filter feeders actually eat off the. So here's the deal. For instance, let's say a blue catfish when he's eating a filter feeder, which is like a mollusk, uh, a clam. A clam's living on the bottom and he's filtering the muck that's on the bottom, and the muck is where the heavy metals, the pesticides, and all that crap comes and gets to the bottom, and then that mollusk or the snail, he's eating all that crap off the bottom, or a gizzard shad or a threadfin shad. They're eating the slime off of the rocks, and that slime is a filter for the environment. So the slime is growing on that stuff where that stuff is settling, and then the mollusk eats that slime. The threadfin shad eats that slime, and then the catfish eats that filter feeder. And he's eating just something that's been filtering that nasty stuff daily, constantly. And so everything that he eats is super toxic. And over time, it just heavy metals, pesticides, PCBs, all that stuff accumulates in a catfish. It does not leave its system. And so that's what you're eating, the nastiest, most toxic crap to a human being. Arsenic, all that nasty stuff. So,
and Chris, there's people out there that doesn't believe that, man. And that's crazy to me. That a lot of people,
yes, Asian carp and spoonbill are filter feeders. They eat krill, like a spoonbill eats krill and phytoplankton and stuff like that. But there's all different levels of filter feeders. So a mollusk, a snail that's eating on the bottom, he's eating the slime off of the bottom, and the slime is what is filtering out the nastiest stuff that is in the lake. It's the stuff that's on the bottom, the things that are on the bottom, and eating that and then filtering it out through their system. And then the predatorial fish comes in and eats that. And so that's basically why they are so toxic. Eat them if you want, but I wouldn't be feeding them to my young child, a nursing or pregnant wife. Not good. West Texas Cat says, I ain't in Facebook, but I'll be at Arrowhead in November for the big country catfish trail. It don't change. May have to come fish that lake, come win y'all's money. Richard says normal weight for him is 5 pounds. I'd agree with that, Richard. That's the perfect weight if you're going to eat them.
For sure.
Be interesting to see where catfishing will be in 20 years, says Jonathan. I'd agree. It's going to be light years from where it is now. So hopefully I believe it's moving in the right direction.
Honestly, Chris, I don't even think it's going to take 20 years, man. I hope every year, as much as it's changing, I hope it comes a lot sooner.
Ben and Tip says he'll give me some spots on Arrowhead.
Oh. There's some of that teammate information going on.
I don't know the lake. I've looked at it. It's a shallow lake. I've only fished it back when I wasn't a great fisherman. We fished the cormorant roosts and splat fished probably 20 years ago. Yep, one. I'm game. I'll team up with you, buddy. Go win that thing. Feel pretty good about teaming up with you. Paula's in the house.
What's up, Paula?
Just got service back. Bad storms in Tennessee. We just had them roll through here, too. We had them roll through here this afternoon. We had some hail.
Chuck, I'm glad you do, brother. I know we always look forward to every Wednesday night, man, doing this. I know it's a lot of fun for myself and Chris to come up here and definitely talk about a lot of subjects and stuff.
Our boy Tim King's in the house. What's up, Tim?
What's up, buddy?
Yep, Chuck, we're having fun. I like helping our guys. I like helping our people. I like having the opportunity to give some people a chance to promote what they're doing and also, share kind of what they're doing in their fishing journey. I think that's the funnest part for me is hearing what other guys get to do. But me and Jamie have a lot of fun just trying to help guys,
man, we Chris, we start talking about next week's show already and stuff. And
it's show number 50 coming up. It's our 1-year anniversary for the show.
I can't believe it's already been that long, brother. Holy cow.
Crazy.
Man, I tell you,
I don't know if we've gotten better or worse, but I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
That's what I was about to say. We're having fun doing what we love to do, man.
4 Digits Fishing said missed the beginning, but loving the conversation or conservation talk. We get into the conservation talk quite a bit, but I don't apologize for it because I believe conservation's it's an important thing. And when I see guys standing up for big fish like J.R. Hall has done the last 2 days, I have a lot of respect for that guy. And that's basically how we got going on it tonight.
Yeah.
Somebody brought up the fish pick going to the Pay Lakes, and man, it got fired up.
We should call it a 2-part show. We start out and we definitely talk about
yeah, you get big fish conservation. It's jugs and bush hookers.
we keep it real.
Jesse Ogden tells Terry Woodrow that the CHFA here in a couple of weeks, fun weekend tournament running since 1986. That's a long-running tournament.
Yes.
Appreciate you, Tim. Appreciate you, buddy. I've been enjoying watching your posts about you and your son fishing and the camping trip and all that. That's cool, man.
Alex, we appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much, Alex, for those kind words, man. taking some of the stuff that we talk about, changing it up while you're fishing, trying some new tactics. We love it.
Yeah, we're moving into the summer post. Now I know where we fish, it's probably a little different than other people. We're moving. Our fish are on the nest, and our state's probably the first one where they move on to the nest. We're in the thick of it right now. It usually lasts till about July, and then it's still not easy to catch big fish because it's 105 in Texas, and they don't like to bite in the daytime. So,
and honestly, Chris, right now I'm hearing a lot of talk about a lot of people's fishing is slowing down. I think a lot of the fish are heading up to the beds right now, and you're starting to see that with a lot of different lives and stuff all over the place. So
Matt Mosley says, "Jugs and bush hookers." LOL. Yes, sir.
they know how to get us going.
Appreciate you, Richard. We try to make it informative, but we try to also have some fun. Sometimes we get off going into some weird stuff. We had Paul on. We got to talking about arrowheads, Indian artifacts. Oh man!
Hey, that's better than what the last time we were talking about. What was it, soy and stuff that she was up there.
Yeah, I got. Oh man, people were giving me rib shots for like 2 weeks after that. So like I showed a picture of, I don't know, it was Jackson playing football or something, and somebody was like, "Yeah, ain't no soy in that boy's diet."
Oh man, love it.
Bill Journey says Cat Claws Rod Holders LLC in the house. So I didn't see Cat Claws in here.
I haven't.
He must be on Facebook, and we're not seeing him.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the YouTube side.
Welcome in.
Yes,
we're open to all comers, man.
You know, man, when you're having fun and you're talking about a lot of this, man, time flies. And I appreciate everybody in chat, man, always getting into the show, asking questions.
That's really what our first half of the show is usually pretty informative, and the second half is pretty much comedy hour. So, or we get real serious into some blood boiling information.
Yeah, when we start talking about jugging and set hooks and trout lines, that's
I got some buddies that come in here and usually get me they know how to get me going.
But Chris, you want to go over and hit on what we first talked about a little bit to close that subject out a little bit?
Yeah, before we do, I'd like to say thanks to Jamie and Rebecca for giving Jackson his 80-pound club decal, for allowing me to design these and for them to put them together. We're starting an 80-pound or we're starting a big fish club. So if you catch a good fish, you get a PB. If you got somebody on your boat that catches a PB, come post it in our Carolina Lake Weights Facebook group, and we'll bring you up on the show. You can tell the story of your fish. We'll send you a free decal. You don't have to have just caught it either. If you just want to, if you've got one that you've caught since you've been part of the Carolina Lake Weights family, tell us the story, and we'll send you a decal and we'll bring you up on the show.
And also, guys, while he's on that, you can go to our website and you can purchase these PB stickers also on the website. So just letting y'all know.
Yep, we're going to be coming out with some other cool decals pretty soon. One of them's going to be the uh, I fish for catfish. Everything else is bait. I wish I'd have downloaded that one. And then we got another one that's going to be the catch, photograph, release, CPR, Carolina. It's Carolina Lake Weights, CPR, catch, photograph, release. If it's, I pledge. If it's 10, we let them swim. They're going to look good. So, Jamie, one of my sponsors sent me this. I'm going to give it to you for being a.
Oh man, I appreciate you, brother. Love it, man. Love it. There you go, Mad Cats.
Yeah. So,
man, that's definitely gonna match all them rods we got.
Yes, good. Got that Carolina Lake Weight swag to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, man.
Also, guys, I wanted to give out a little tip for you guys that, because I know in the winter everybody's looking for a taped net. Okay, guys, all winter are like, man, where do I get the tape net? Well, they sell out in the winter because everybody and their dog's looking for one. This is the Phytech 11970. This is my favorite net. I even throw with it now. It's a 1.5 pounds per foot taped net from Phytech. The model number is 11970. You can get them at Academy for $116 right now. It's a $200 net. They're $275 if you're trying to get one in the winter. So if you're going to be buying, if you need a deep net, don't wait till fall because they ain't gonna have them. And if they do have them, they're going to be double, almost triple the price as you get one now. So Academy online, $116. I think it ships to your house for $130. I'm gonna give y'all a little tip. If you're needing a deep hole net, buy it now because you won't find them in the winter.
Heck yeah, brother. I got to get me another one, so I'm definitely going to be getting me one.
Get you one now because they'll be probably sold out after tonight. I noticed it came straight from Phytech. So Amazon ships them straight from Phytech. So
that's it. And guys, also too, let y'all know, man, we've got some cool new stuff. Check us out at CarolinaLakeWeights.com. We got all kinds of new swag, hats. We're going to be releasing the orange hats here real soon. As soon as they get here, you'll be able to get your Carolina Lake Weights hats in orange also. So look out for that. Don't forget, we've got blue, purple, and orange jerseys in stock.
Yeah.
5X all the way down to your smallest sizes. So definitely, Chris has got the blue one right there.
I was going to wear mine tonight, but I wore mine with all my sponsors on it, so I didn't even get to show it off. But this one's pretty awesome. Jamie, you were right. It does fit really good.
It does, man. And I tell you guys,
Carolina Lake Weights specific jersey, but it's got a lot of the logos from the products. It's got Carolina Real Screamers. It's got hell, I can't read it because it's all in front of me. But
you got your Carolina Lake Shakers there. Just all the stuff that we have here at Carolina Lake Weights. This is a CLW jersey only. Like I said, we've now got. Give me 1 second right here.
Action Jackson, the Texas Tornado, baby.
That's it. Here's how they will come. You will get them in a bag. They're right there. It's the new orange ones also. And they all come already packaged just like this, guys. So definitely check it out. We have purple, we have orange, and blue now.
Bill, tape net is a deep net. It's for getting bait out deep. If you're in deeper than about 20 feet of water, you need a taped net. It keeps your net open. And it even helps some guys that can't throw a pancake. It'll help open the net up. So you can get, and it's a pound and a half. So it's for catching bigger baits for like guys that are trying to target big fish. Uh, Generally want a bigger bait. So it's a 5/8 mesh. It allows the small anything that's about 4 inches uh, or less goes through the mesh. So you're get everything you catch is basically over 4 inches. It's for getting big baits in mid depth. It's got a 50-foot hand line, so you can throw that net in 50 foot of water and get your bait. Which I usually this time of year I'm getting my bait, and I think I got my bait 27 feet Saturday. So I still get my big baits pretty deep, even when a lot of guys are getting it shallow. Just I find getting big baits is much easier on mid-depth structure, ledges and deep holes, than it is to go throw 30 times up shallow. So even this time of year, I use my deep net.
And Chris, before we get closed out, I want to let everybody know that now you can get 5-inch spooks here. Also, we have
getting those. Somebody forgot to send me those.
we just got all these bad boys in, guys, and they're super loud. Check them out. We definitely have a select few of these right now.
Look good. Let me hear them rattle. Go like that. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And we also have a new color in the 4-inch, also right there.
Those sound a little different.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. When I'm throwing out rattles, I like to put out a variety. I don't want them all the same.
Yeah.
That's got a higher pitch, and the other one has probably a larger slug in it.
That's it. And that's just like these right here. They have a different sound. So we're growing, guys. Definitely check us out. CarolinaLakeWeights.com.
I love it, man. We got more stuff coming online all the time.
Yep, we're definitely going to continue.
We're trying to continue to improve things too. We're going to keep improving what we got. It's not.
We're not going to sit still.
Better, so we're not just going to sit on what we got. We're going to keep trying to get it better.
There's some exciting things happening. We just can't share it right now. We got, like I said, we're improving lots of stuff. So y'all just stand by.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to try to get. We're also looking at new hooks and trying to decide on which ones we want to go with. And I want Jamie to get some striper hooks so we can get you your own hook to promote on the striper. Now, I don't know if guys are going to want to buy striper hooks from Carolina Lake Weights or not, but I figured if we got an awesome angler like you promoting on the best striper lake in the country, it might help.
I can tell you, Chris, I've seen some pictures of people catching some nice stripers off of our rigs and stuff. Matt Mosley, man, catching some off the new Jesse James rigs that we just released not too long ago. Now with the 2.0 also, so a lot of great things.
Yeah, Matt's got some pretty slick weights. He's been down. He's down rigging with a heavier weight. I'll show it to you. He sent me some pictures of it. Now, I don't know if we can get those or if you can get those, but pretty slick weight. It's got swivels built into it.
Nice.
Kitty Fisherman says, I out to work on Grapevine. I don't know what language you're speaking there, buddy. But it's damn flooded before I came back to the rig. Yep, our lakes are super flooded here in Texas, and we just got another storm tonight. So I think my lake was 7 feet up. I fished in 22 feet. It's normally, or I think my lake's almost 10 feet up now. So I fished in 21 feet Saturday, and normally it's 11 feet where I fished.
Put him to work.
Okay. It's big thumbs, man.
or that auto text, and it happens to me all the time. Oh man.
Yep. Yep. Well, Jamie, anything else you want to promote before we get out of here?
Man, I just want to say thank you, brother. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there that supports Carolina Lake Weights. I want to say thank you to all of our guys, all of our teammates for everything that they do.
Yeah.
I want to thank Rebecca for what she does that a lot of people don't get to see, man. If it wasn't for her, I tell you, I would be in trouble. I mean, she's the one that makes this thing makes everything look good. But I
Yes,
want to thank her. And
yeah.
but I want to
It
say,
wouldn't work without her. There's no doubt.
yeah, she's been in there while we out here doing decals. She's been in here doing shirts. I mean, just unbelievable stuff. And I want to give her a praise because she deserves it a lot. She really does. But
She's awesome. Love
yeah,
Rebecca. Love both of you guys. So y'all are family to me.
yeah,
We're approaching 2K on our subscribers on our YouTube channel. It's been a long road to get there. Appreciate everybody that's supporting us. We're going to do a giveaway when we get there. I'm probably going to start trying to promote the giveaway before just to try to ramp us up to 2K. I think we're at 145 or something or 1845. I don't know how long it'll take me to get to 2K. We've been getting between 60 and 80 subscribers a month. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to do a giveaway. I'm probably going to give away some Carolina Lake Weights swag, some Carolina Lake Weights. I'm going to give away a Mad Cats rod, Mad Cats reel, and I'm probably just going to give it all to one person so it's easier on me. But I'll come up with a short. It'll be just basically you'll go onto the short, you'll give it a thumbs up. I'll enter you in if you're subscribed and you give it a thumbs up and put a comment in. And then if you share the thing out, I'll put you in your name in the mix 2 times. So usually there's not a whole lot of people that get in on these giveaways for me. And so you'll have a good chance. One of our guys will have a good chance of winning $200 or $300 worth of stuff. So,
wow. Hey,
just
Chris,
a
also,
way to give back.
yeah.
And I'm going to do it on our show. I'm going to do the giveaway on our show.
And I want to tell people also, if y'all haven't got Carolina Lake Weights on YouTube or TikTok, please go subscribe and watch a video, and definitely look us up too.
Yeah, go hit Gato Azul TV up if you're over there on Facebook. Go over to our YouTube channel, get subscribed. I'll put the short out soon, and all you got to do is give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment on that short, and we'll get you entered. And then we'll do the giveaway when we hit 2K. So,
man, that sounds awesome, brother. That sounds awesome.
Yep, it's been fun. I've been fortunate enough to get a lot of support from companies and from my friends. So I like to give back. I think it's cool. And hopefully one of these guys in here gets to win it,
That's it. We've definitely had some good people supporting us from day one, and I still see a lot of them in here to this day, and I appreciate all of them. I really do.
Well, guys, if you haven't, give us a thumbs up, and it helps. I mean, I don't know how it helps, but I've heard it helps. We're not really trying to get a bunch of subscribers or be famous. Really, I enjoy having our tight-knit group of guys that are, we can be actually real friends with, not fake friends. It's real friends. We all help each other. Hell, I've fished with quite a few guys that are in here, and I'm teammates with a bunch of these guys, and a lot of you guys have become friends to me, and I appreciate all you guys' friendship. Appreciate all your support, Jamie. thanks for everything you do for my son and for me, and for being there, being a good friend to talk to when I need to bounce ideas off of you.
Anytime, brother. We love you, man. Y'all family. That's for sure.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see y'all next Wednesday. It's our 50 show. It'll be our 50th show Wednesday, and we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary. So we talked about it a little bit today about what we're going to do. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We don't have any guests. We may ask some guys that have been on the show before, but we'll be doing some giveaways next week. We'll let you guys know in advance kind of what our plan's going to be. We'll figure something out. So appreciate everybody coming, spending time with us. Tight lines. God bless.
Later, y'all.
Out.